But
Talk to me, if you could, just about, the loneliness that seniors are feeling, especially now going into the holidays.
this is a stressful time for everybody and for people of all ages. I think it's especially tough on seniors who are prone to isolation anyway, who might feel estranged from family anyway, and who, quite frankly, have a different risk profile than a lot of the other folks in our community. And so that uncertainty, that fear of getting COVID, that fear of, if I connect with my family, am I putting somebody at risk? Am I at risk? Really has fueled a huge sense of isolation among seniors. And we know in a lot of cases that isolation, that stress can be just as deadly as COVID itself. And so at FCA, we've seen a number of seniors who are really struggling. They're struggling with mental health issues, the anxiety, the depression. They have admitted to us that their alcohol use has gone up, as well as their use of other drugs. And so it's something that really, really concerns us. And when we look at what's happened during COVID and all of those pre-existing conditions that have hit different populations in different ways, we know that care for our seniors is something that suffered in a really big way. And as a population, they've suffered. The issue of nursing homes is something that I know that you've covered before and something that's of a concern. But there are a lot of seniors who are not living in nursing homes and families who are now going to spend Thanksgiving saying, do I go? Do I not go? I certainly don't want to put anybody at risk. But especially for people who are at the end of their lives, do you really want to miss another Thanksgiving? The answer is better to be on Zoom than to be in an ICU. And there are ways to get around some of this. And so one of the things that we suggest to everybody is make sure that you're doing regular check-ins with that family member who might not be able to come together this Thanksgiving. Make sure that it's even a couple times a day. Make sure that those conversations, if they're taking place via technology, whether it be telephone or Zoom or FaceTime, that you're asking probing questions, not just how are you doing today? We know that seniors are generally reluctant because they don't want to be a bother. And so reaching out to them and then asking probing questions. Did you eat today? How are you feeling today? Were you able to jump into the shower? Notice what's going around. It looks like you're wearing the same clothes that you were wearing yesterday. Did you get a chance to change yet today? For men, it doesn't look like you've shaven in a couple of days, or are you doing okay? Those types of probing questions are going to get you better answers. I mentioned technology, and I think a lot of seniors, and we have a notion that seniors are resistant to technology, and some of it is just the fear of the unknown. And I don't know about my cell phone. I just use a couple minutes a month. Explaining to them that FaceTime isn't actually all that complicated and doing some walkthroughs with them to make technology more friendly and more accessible in a gentle kind of way can go a long way to breaking that isolation. Right now, that technology, aside from standing outside somebody's living room window, is all we've got. And so job number one really is helping seniors to have the tools they need to communicate in that way. And it doesn't require much these days. But two, helping them understand the technology and breaking through that notion that it's just a big thing I don't want to get involved in. It's actually not that complicated when we go step by step. The other thing I'd say is, especially this Thanksgiving, if there are family traditions that you all have in terms of making recipes, there's a way to do that via FaceTime. There's a way to deliver some of that food to seniors who might otherwise be isolated. And the same goes for all family members. There's a way to maintain some of the traditions that we've held for a long time this Thanksgiving. This is a Thanksgiving like none other, and maintaining that sense of tradition is really, really important. The other thing that we've advocated is, showing seniors pictures of past Thanksgiving, showing them those family photos that might kind of bring that all back, really looking for ways to create that sense of belonging, even though we can't physically be together at this time, is absolutely vital. And then the last thing I'd say is, we've talked a little bit about our internal families. We know that there's a lot of seniors, especially on Long Island, who are isolated because a lot of family has moved to other places. We see generations leaving Long Island and going to other places that might be more affordable, which means that seniors are still here in their Levittown homes from 40 years ago. Reach out to a neighbor. We all have folks on our block who we know live by themselves and might not have that family contact. Now is the time more than ever to reach out to that person, to leave a dish on their doorstep, or to send a bouquet of flowers, or just to to knock on the door wearing a mask back up and say, hey, I'm your neighbor a couple doors down. I just wanted to check on you. I just wanted to say hello. How are you doing? That kind of thing goes a long way. And if you think about it, New Yorkers have always done things like that, whether it was in the days after 9/11 or the days after Sandy or the first wave of COVID. We're all a little tired, and maybe some of that goodwill has worn off as we've gotten complacent. Now is the time to ramp that up, not only for Thanksgiving, but for the holidays that lie ahead.